entire match. How would you describe it?
Underwhelming. I was disappointed with one, the finishing, the attacking, the attacking play in most of these games. I thought was underwhelming and not a lot of players didn't play to their ability. Again, you're looking at some teams who had no interest in really attacking and keeping the ball. I was just looking for a lot more. And from that standpoint, you look at France, you look at Portugal. France was almost like a shell of themselves in the attacking third. I know Mbappe was dealing with the injury, but you throw in Dembele, Griezmann getting benched. They couldn't figure out between Marcus Thuram and Kolo Muani who was going to be, a difference maker. It was very, very underwhelming.
Beyond underwhelming, I would describe it as unfulfilling.
Yeah.
Because usually at a Euros, you expect to see European powerhouses display their world-class quality, right? Because these are footballers that have gone through impressive academies, and each country is supposed to tout their national identity. The big clubs, the big countries weren't that great, save for Spain. And even in the Final Four, we didn't even get a dark horse. So I don't know where that leaves the quality of football in general, what that says about where we're at.
Like the overarching
in the world
theme of world football?
Of football at the moment, because Netherlands wasn't that great. England wasn't great, and they made a final. I was waiting for like a Slovakia to upset an England, a Turkey to upset a Netherlands. They almost had it and made a semifinal.
The leading goal scorer was 3, and there's 6 of them.
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
I'm glad.
Can you name all 6?
No.
I'm glad the winner.
Kane, Gakpo.
Danny Olmo.
Yeah, Danny Olmo.
Sadze or whoever the
And
Georgian guy was.
Franz from Slovakia, he's going with a golden boot.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I'm glad the best football team won the Euro. That at least we
Yes.
got that.
Yeah, that felt a little bit vindicating for sure. Zach, what do you make of a lot of the favorites heading into this tournament just kind of underperforming and putting out underwhelming performances? Why is that?
Yeah, well, I've got down here, I've got great players, great teams, disappointing tournament. Italy let us down. England didn't let us down, but their performances
did.
let us down.
What about Germany?
Yeah, I think they had a great opening.
Portugal.
And then, Portugal.
I look at all the options that they had.
Yeah.
And then, I felt like in this version of the Euros, a lot of managers, they stuck, in terms of loyalty, stuck with the older player or the experienced player in the position, even though they weren't necessarily delivering.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Roberto Martinez said, this is our guy, similar to what Messi was with Argentina. Ronaldo is with us for this tournament. We're going to play, and I believe in him to a detriment, right? And then you look at Harry Kane, couldn't move.
Yeah.
He was very underwhelming. We've seen Harry Kane. I mean, this season he was with Bayern Munich was sensational, right? But in terms of the English side, he didn't make anyone better, and he himself didn't perform.
Yeah.
So you're trying to figure out, well, what's the justification for keeping Harry Kane in the lineup every single match? Because Ollie Watkins gave you a lot. Ivan Toney even gave you a different look. So I'm looking at some of these games, and even same thing with France, even though Griezmann was changed in the last match and probably shouldn't have been, right? And so very underwhelming. Again, you look at Kai Havertz continuing to start, and Füllkrug was coming off the bench and making a difference, but still, players who aren't delivering, getting the start every match.
Yeah, I come into the Euros and I was looking forward to it. And you watch a game and you was disappointed and you're thinking, next game's going to be, I'm looking forward to the next game. Next game, disappointed. So I think it was like that all the way through.
It was.
There was maybe 1 or 2 games what was exciting. But out of all the games that we watched, it was a disappointing.
We didn't even get an upset. We didn't even get an upset. Like Georgia beating Portugal, yeah, group stage, but I'm thinking of the run that Turkey made in 2008, for example, or Greece in 2004, right? that the will and the power and the belief of a country could push them to a major instance, a major round, like a semifinal. And I think it says a lot that despite the low quality collectively from the powerhouses, they were still able to like trod through to a semifinal. Like, yeah.
I think unfulfilling is exactly
It was
the right
like
word.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's turn this conversation around. Let's focus on the positives here. There were some players where their stock absolutely rose throughout the entire tournament. So we're going to go around. I want you to give me your players who had standout performances that really impressed. Charlie, we'll start with you.
Lamine Yamal. I mean, he just turned 17 the day before the final. This guy had 4 assists. This kid had 4 assists and 1 goal, so 5 goal contributions, which ties for the Euros lead with his teammate Dani Olmo, who also was a standout surprise coming in for the injured Pedri, and then really showing his quality and why he should be amongst the best clubs in the world, playing amongst the best clubs in the world. He's got that type of talent. But Lamine Yamal, how gifted he is in those 1v1 situations, creating space for his teammates and himself. So unpredictable in his movement, and his dribbling ability is so special. It's smooth, his head's up on a swivel, his first touch is class, his passing, his decision making. At 16 into 17.
You have four assists?
4 assists. Incredible. For that age to make the right decision more times than not, it's really hard to put in perspective in terms of all the 17-year-olds I've seen in my life, 16-year-olds I've seen in my life. They make a ton of mistakes, right?
Yep.
They could do all the things. We see what Doku has done for Belgium, what Dembele has done for France. They can have all the special ability, but when they get to the final third, it's a little bit panic, or they make the wrong decisions, or it's very selfish, self-serving. Not for this player.
How old are Reese and Dakota?
8.
8. They're only 8 years younger than Lamine Yamal, so 2032.
Good grief.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
But I mean, just to put it in perspective,
It's remarkable.
it's the almost the innocence of the youth, right, that allows him to be so free. But at the same time, it's I wouldn't even call it innocence.
It's funny because it's like you could call it fearlessness, but it's almost like he's not even aware that there could be an element of fear in place. It's just he plays so free. Have you ever seen that kind of maturity in a player that young, Zat?
I haven't seen that. I mean, I was young watching Ronaldo, R9, and that was exciting. And he gives me glimpses of that. Him and Nico Williams, both of them left and right side for Spain. They was a joy to watch. I was really looking forward to watching the Spain games. But obviously, them two players, them two stand out for me.
I mean, that is one thing. Spain did not disappoint throughout this entire tournament. They played really attractive, exciting football. And those two young guys, that connection that was established was the highlight, the absolute highlight for me. Nico, any standout players for you?
When we were tasked with finding standout players, I was looking for somebody who wasn't on my radar to begin the tournament. And the Fenerbahce left back that plays for Turkey, Ferdi Kadıoğlu, had a sensational tournament at left back.
Yes,
the way that he bombed up his wing, first defensively and then going forward, he impressed. I watched my fair share of Turkish football, I would say, and this is not someone that I considered a fullback with extraordinary potential. And then after this tournament, he played inspired. Maybe that's why they say don't buy hot after a tournament, right? Because you might get a James Rodriguez, for example, after the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah, but then you said James Rodriguez shows you in 2024.
Yeah, but that's different.
I know,
Isn't
but
that wild? 10 years on.
You see, 10 years on, this guy is special. And you're figuring out what the hell went wrong in between, right? The clubs form. But in that same vein, Arda Güler showed
absolutely
was.
But we knew of him. I'm glad that he was able to take control of games at such a young age, the way that he did. I was a little bit let down on the other side, Kenan Yıldız from Juventus, but there was a lot of youth and pride in this Turkish side that got the best out of their players, and they had a decent tournament.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, the big news of the morning is that Gareth Southgate has stepped down as England manager. We are going to take a break, but we're going to chat with Anita Jones on more of that on the other side.